Hello and welcome to another edition of Hard Copy, the program where we talk to people behind the news. I'm Maokbe Ogun. Now, with Nigeria in a recession, there have been questions as to how and why she got there. For President Muhammadu Buhari, the preceding government of the People's Democratic Party should be held responsible. But only recently, chairman of the APC Governors Forum and governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, says his party should carry the can. After all, that's why the people elected them. I ask him today if that's his party's true stance or that's what he believes should be the party's stance.
At this painful moment, nobody likes it. It's like a woman in a labor room. When a woman is in the labor room, there's no joy. But she has to pass through that moment. At that moment, she doesn't wear her high heel shoes, no makeup, no champagne, no party. She's going through a process. But shortly after that process, joy cometh when she sees the child. So Nigerians should bear with us as a government. This was not a problem brought by APC government. It's been a problem that has existed long before APC come to government. We're only trying to clear the mess of the past. But we must take responsibility, and we must never shift the responsibility to anybody. That is APC, we are responsible. For everything happening in Nigeria, we are responsible.
For the 16 years and 8 consecutive governments, it was the other party. And you know the unprecedented revenue realized. The average production, which can be verified, was 2.1 million barrels a day, 1999 to 2014. The average cost of each Nigerian barrel of oil was $100 per barrel. When we came, by some fabulous coincidence, it dived to less than $30 per barrel, and is now oscillating between 40 and 50. Actually, I felt right to abscond because 27 out of the 36 states of Nigeria cannot pay salaries.
Governor Rochas Okorocha, you're welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you very much.
Now, that clip of you, the 2 short clips we saw, the first one of you was recorded after your meeting as a meeting of APC governors with the president. I think it was on October the 24th. And the next one after that, that's the one of the president, was taken on November the 3rd. Now, you had said that your party should carry the can, and a lot of people assumed that that was the new stance of the APC. But then shortly after, we heard the president talk about the PDP again. Don't you think that your party is sending conflicting signals as to who exactly is taking responsibility for Nigeria's state?
Not at all, not at all. I think you must understand that what we're talking about is about the soul of Nigerian nation. Now, there's nothing contradicting in both statements. Mr. President is giving the background, the origin of Nigerian problem, saying that would have saved during the rainy days, which would not. That has not removed him from taking the responsibility. Because we understand that these problems exist. That was why we call for the change. So we must take responsibility. Mr. President is not shifting blame, but he's letting Nigerians understand where he's coming from and probably put the whole situation in a proper perspective for people to understand.
You do understand that that's
yes.
One of the strongest points of criticism for the president. People say that he's been blaming the PDP for far too long, that even in areas where this government ought to have taken responsibility, it would seem that the president is still busy criticizing the PDP.
No, but you must understand. You see, there are 2 different things to talk about here. Letting people understand the origin, the history of the entire economic woes we're in. That's a different thing altogether, which you should understand. But Mr. President is not saying to you that he's not taking responsibility. He's taking responsibility by marshalling out the policies and programs for this nation. That's part of taking responsibility. What we are saying is, listen, there was a mess. And everybody accepts there's a mess. But we cannot dwell on the mess issue without finding a solution. So he's finding a solution to them. So this is quite two different things we are presenting here. Mr. President is not saying that I'm not taking responsibility. He should take responsibility. He's the president. He will not shift it to anybody. Whatever you meet on your way, the problem you meet on your way to governance is the problem you are meant to solve. So this is a problem for President Buhari to solve.
He keeps saying, I mean, he says, and he said it before, that he almost did not realize the depth of the problem. In fact, you heard him say in that track that he felt like absconding when he saw the problems that were on the ground. It would seem that your party did not quite realize the depth of the mess, you know, or understand, you know, the problems that were on the ground when you were on the campaign trail.
Yes, I think Nigerians like taking things in their literal meanings. He's trying to dramatize the humongous nature of the problems on ground, which many do not know. Now, put yourself in his position. You came into a government and there's nothing left in the treasury of the nation. Meanwhile, a few years ago, we were opportune to have oil at the price of $120 per barrel, $110 per barrel. And we produce about 2 million barrels or 2.2 million barrels every day. So you could imagine how much money would have been there in the process. And there's nothing to show for it. There's nothing wrong in Mr. President letting the world understand where he's coming from. I think that would make you better appreciate what he's going through. That is not really like transferring blame, because you're not going to call PDP back to government during this era. We're taking responsibility. And let me tell you, it's a simple statement. Every leader in every position must take responsibility. In Imo, I take responsibility for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
You're not trying to deflect criticism, because, you know, on 2 occasions, you've been, sometime in May and only recently in November, you were quoted as saying that your party is not managing its victory very well. And you have also been in Abuja. You've been trying to reconcile it with same warring factions within your party. Tell us, do all members of your party agree with you, or do they resent what they perceive might be an open criticism of your party in the public space?
I think is the truth. The truth sometimes could be bitter, but the truth must stand at every given situation. Now, our party, the APC, has not managed this victory well. There have been so much accusations, counter-accusations, allegations, internal acrimony, so many problems, and that wasn't good for our party. But I have come into this matter, and I've looked into it, and I've met all stakeholders. But one thing that was reassuring is that in all the speeches of this, or statement of everybody concerned, all I saw was communication gap. There was a huge communication gap amongst the rank and files of the party, the leadership of the party. And we found out that it wasn't even worth it at all, with all the speculations and people are taking advantage of it. So I've come to realize that what we suffer from is a communication gap, people wanting to be carried along. You see, in our custom, in Nigerian custom, if you want to hear that you own this station, channel station, but allow me use it, I can use the channel station, but let the world know that you own it. That's our culture. So I think that's basically what's happening. But I think all that has been resolved now, and we're going to see a brand new relationship in the party. You're going to see a great party, and because Mr. President does not need the distractions, not from even his own party. So I think we're fine for it, and I thank God Almighty.
You're saying that relationships have been repaired?
Everything is fixed perfecto, to the glory of God. I believe it, and I think everybody has to understand. It's just bridging the communication gap, and speculations, and people saying something, repenting it in a different way, and trying to create the gap.
This is even as we see divisions in the Ondo State governorship elections that are approaching.
No, that's a different thing altogether. You're talking about different thing altogether now.
Is it not? Are the divisions not reflecting there as well?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. What happened in the Ondo election is a different kettle of fish. Now, it's internal democracy in action. What we're saying that the same system that brought President Buhari in as a presidential candidate, that's the model we use for all our primaries, which is clean and clear internal democracy. Remember, some of us were in that contest. But when we saw it was clear that the man won, who had no choice but to support him. So, but you should know that in Africa, as democracy grows, people don't accept losing election easily. It's common with us. And for any election that you lost, you must give reason why you lost, and there'll be agitation. So I don't think it's a different thing altogether. What I'm talking about is already those already in power, not working together, not agreeing on issues. Our party is a majority in the National Assembly, but when you see things coming out, it looks like we're a minority. So that's one of the things that are very, very critical to survival of every government, and I think that peace has come to be.
But some people also say that, you say that the peace has come to be. Some people say that as we get closer to 2019, we're going to see more and more of this wranglings. Do you think that 2019 is at the heart of the crisis within your party?
Wrangling is part of democracy. Agitation is part of democracy. But you see, getting the vision right is about everything. Let me tell you, I care about vision and the point where we're going to. I tell you something in my life about it. I told my wife one day, I said, young lady, my lovely wife, listen, don't marry me. If you marry me, I will offend you. And I don't intend to marry you. But let us establish a vision. You marry the vision, and I marry the vision. And the vision is not human. It's an idea. So once we marry to that vision, no matter how angry you are, the vision will bring you back. I think our party needs to develop a common vision. And that vision must be the interest of the masses of the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Are you saying there's none for now?
There is, but we have to understand it. We have to everybody has to key into it. There is. But has everybody keyed into it? In that vision, you have what is called people being able to give up themselves and sacrifice. So that even when you don't get what you think you can get or do to you as a matter of right, the vision will tell you, listen, make that sacrifice for my sake and for the sake of this nation.
The reason why
this is the orientation that we need in our party.
The reason I ask you is because during the president's campaign to the southeast before he was elected, you named him Okechukwu.
Okechukwu, that is right.
And you mentioned that it shall be...
Buhari, yes.
You mentioned that it shall be the turn of the southeast very soon. Some people interpret that to be 2019. Are you looking at the presidency come 2019?
Listen, let President Buhari do this job now. Let him clear the mess. You see, everyone has a gift. President Buhari has the gift of nature for clearing the mess. Let him clear the mess and lay the solid foundation. But definitely, he might not be the person to paint the house. But the house needs a solid foundation. And I think that's where it's coming from. I've often told the people that President Buhari's coming at this time is crucial to lay a solid foundation and bring down the entire crack walls of the whole nation, which is what he's doing now. And that's the surgery period I refer to. That's the painful period that nobody wants to see. So but it has to be done once and for all.
You're not committing to whether or not you support him if he decides to run in 2019?
He's my candidate for 2019, if he's running.
Okay, only recently too, you also came out to support the president's wife, Aisha Buhari, when she, gave an outburst. And it was on the back of that, it would seem that the president called a meeting of APC governors. Has the issues around appointment, have they been resolved now?
Well, issues around appointment is about being resolved, and it will be resolved. There was nothing wrong with issues of appointment. It was simply the methodology. Take, for instance, there are certain things that you allow the party and the system deal with, issues of board. It gives everybody a sense of belonging. Those are the areas that we're trying to fine-tune now. And as soon as we do that, everybody will be fine.